Hi, this is Dawn. Welcome back or welcome to my channel. It's lovely to have you here in my art room with me while I chat along doing the things that I love to do. So hopefully you've got something to do that you love to do. Today I'm working on my Field Notes journal, which is part of the Roxy's Journal of Stitchery Volume 6 Field Notes. And I'm working on the prompt that was butterflies and bugs or whatever. In the last couple of weeks, or last week actually, I received a purchase that I'd ordered from Rachel of her fabric. Sorry, I'll crinkle the plastic once and then it'll be done. And they're absolutely gorgeous. Everything that I could have hoped for. And I thought, at first I was terrified to use them because they're just so gorgeous. I just want to look at them all the time. But anyway, many of hers have butterflies and bugs on them, but in case you haven't seen them up, these are the linen ones, and I bought 2 packs. One pack was 3 pieces and one pack was 6 pieces because I just couldn't help myself. And the linen's absolutely beautiful. It's a bit frayy, but I can work through that. I don't know what I'm going to use them for because they're just way too gorgeous. But anyway, that's all right. I don't know if actually I've showed these on another video. Maybe I have. But anyway, let's do it on this one. I really thought about this piece here. That one was the one I was like, yep, I'm using that. But I'll talk about why I changed my mind. It'll get used somewhere beautiful. But anyway, these are the pieces that I got and I just love them. Rachel and her hubby are so clever in their design and having the opportunity to get them printed on fabrics even more so. So yeah, isn't that a gorgeous bit? I really thought about that bit. That's probably my favourite bit out of the whole thing. Just delicious. Anyway, that's not the bit that I'm using. So there we go. And that's the piece that I cut off this one here, if you can see, because my Field Notes journal is only like an A5 size anyway, so that's all right. That'll come in handy for another day. But I quite like this piece because, number one, it already gave me a label. It has some pretty flowers on it, but it also gave me somewhere to do my own thing because, excuse me, Rachel's fabrics are so gorgeous, don't want to cover them up. So, you know, they're sitting there. I need to attach it. I haven't done that. And the thing that came to my mind when the girls were talking about butterflies and bugs, here where I live, we have a vegetable garden, and in the summer, the white cabbage moths are in plague proportions almost. I have actually driven through an area, New South Wales, I think. It was later in the summer and they were in plague. I felt I felt for the farmers there because the white butterflies were like driving through a cloud, or those cabbage moths are awful. And they're a nuisance here too, I might tell you. I'm having to constantly be on guard with them because their little green caterpillar larvae just eat through everything in a flash. But I don't really like putting poisons down in my vegetable garden. I try to avoid it. But I've seen somebody did these little, I think you can buy them actually. They're like little pretend butterflies on a stake that flap and apparently keep them away. I don't know, I haven't tried it. So that was a long story about white cabbage moths. My intention is to make a 3D one. One of the textile artists that I've just loved forever is Aname Mean, and I've shown this book once before that I have, and she does these gorgeous 3D moths and butterflies that hers are all machine stitched, freestyle machine stitched, but beautiful silks that are hand painted, and yeah, I'm not going to do that. Oh yeah, there's these moths on gum leaves that I thought, I had a thought about that one. But she also does a page, sorry, where if I see if I can find it, where she does, you know, a bit sort of like a field note type thing, but with stitching. Sorry, I'm flipping the pages. I hope I'm not making you dizzy here. Where do I pull it out of the way and I'll find it quickly? Where she uses the page as her trial of what she's going to do, because I won't be able to find it now. And I thought that was a really good idea too, because I think Rachel's done it with a lady that she follows, where they put their fabric swatches or their thread swatches and their colour swatches on their page. So here, where she's put her threads in that she's going to be using, her paint colours, a little bit of information about the type of stitching that she's using, the fabrics that she's using. That's a gorgeous cabbage moth. That's a beautiful one. And this one as well, where this is her, you know, how she's worked this here. I thought, oh, I think I'm ready for that. So she's going to go away, because I would hate to think that I ended up doing something the same. I don't want to do that. But I am going to make a 3D cabbage moth. So I've drawn my little picture out here. Just found an image, you know, online image of white cabbage moths, and I quite liked his stance, not with his wings spread out. And I've started to, and then I traced it, so I've got my separate wing pieces here, and I've got a body piece. I'm not going to, I'm just going to stitch that with like a satin stitch or something, but I needed that piece because I thought my idea is for it to go here. The other thing that I've also done was played with a stamp that I have, which is a Tim Holtz stamp. It's from his Tim Holtz collection, one I've had for a really long time. It was Stampers Anonymous was the company that put it out, and it's called Butterflies and Moths. And I thought, well, I've used it before, and you know, quite like the idea of it. And I have some Tim Holtz fabric that's got butterflies and moths on it, but I just thought I might stamp my own piece. So I've used Stays On ink in a stone grey colour, and the first image that and this is just a piece of calico that's hasn't been washed, so it still has a bit of sizing on it. You know, I don't know whether that resists the ink, I'm not completely sure, but my first print wasn't great, my second one was. My advice to you is to leave it on the fabric for a bit if you're stamping on fabric, to allow the ink to penetrate the fabric, because it's not like paper where it just sits on top. We need it to get into the fabric, and so I'm cool with this one. I'm going to go with that. I'm not going to bother doing it again. You know, you will need a firmer surface to work on, not just your felt mat. That won't work. So that's all part of my layout. So if I can get this started today, I've got a fairly busy week coming up, and some of those days I won't even be here, so I won't be anywhere near my camera or, you know, my my workroom. Good. All right, so I'll leave that there for now. Oh, there's the other little Tim Holtz butterfly that I had that I cut out, and I thought, oh, would I use that? It's hovering, you know, it's just sitting here by me. So the process that I want to have a go at, and I've already tried it out once. I've made one little wing, and I made it in a sort of satiny sort of, oh, I don't know what it is. It's like something, probably like a, I think it's like a water wave satin that you would use for lining your wedding dress with, I think. I wasn't fussed. I did one, and then I thought, nah, that's not what I really wanted it to do. It was a bit shiny. So this fabric here is fabric that I have backed my, I think this is the right side. It takes me a little bit of time. It's got a self stitch on it. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, good. That's where you can see it. And this was just a scrappy bit off the end, but I'm using it to back my Just Because quilt, which is a Christmas one. And so of course it's sitting here. Yesterday I had a bit of a tidy up in here. Oh my gosh, I managed to get myself in such a mess the other day when I was looking for fabrics for my Christmas quilt. So what I did was I traced the wings off here and cut them out. So that's those two. But I actually thought the stitching that's in this fabric might lend itself to sort of the veins, but I do intend to use some paint. So I think that's that one. So what I'm going to, oh no, that could be the under one of there. All right. And that could be the top. Yeah, I think that's how it goes. I'll just leave him here for me to see. And so what I will do is trace around it, but with stitch. I'm not going to use pen on it because I don't want to. Very first reasoning behind what I'm doing. I'm just going to pin them all on here, and then once I've traced around it, I'll cut them out and turn them inside out, which the method is called bagging. I'll do one on screen with you because they don't, you know, they're not a 5-minute job. But I thought if I just go through my layout as to where I'm heading with this. I'm not sure if I'll put any additional stitching into the flowers here. I may do, or even the leaves might actually be nice, but I don't want to take anything away from the original design. I'm going to be very precious with these fabrics. Be lucky if they ever get used. Anyway, that's all right. So I've just got some basic, actually this is like a rayon or viscose thread because it's quite fine. Isofil it's called, which sometimes is used in the bobbin of your machine because it's quite fine. It you know, goes a long way in your bobbin and it disappears in the back of your stitching if you're doing machine stitching. But it's got a little bit of a sheen on it, so it'll look all right. And what I need to do is leave a bit open because I need to be able to turn it inside out. So I'm just going to start where maybe that opening might be. And I'm just going to do a fairly small back stitch to hold it together. And like I said, I've had a go, I've had a play, so I know it's basically going to work. Fiddly, but what I want is for the wings to stand up on their own. And so, yep, that's my plan. So it's kind of a bit 3D. I mean, they'll probably get squashed in the journal eventually, but I'll know they're 3D. If you open that page, they should flutter open a little bit, so that'll be good. So you might like, if you're doing something like this, you might like to trace around it with a pen and stitch on the line. I feel comfortable enough doing it like this. I'm not, you know, it doesn't have to be exact because this is the inside. If it goes a little bit wobbly, it won't matter too much. Cool. All right. So the perfect sewing day. Freezing cold and rain. No reason to be out there rescuing my blueberries just yet. I do need to do them. So yeah, lovely day for being inside. My plan is when I'm done here, I'm going to get some cooking done. Excuse me. Last week I made some vegetable pasties for my mum and my stepdad, and had thought, oh, I need to do them for us too now. So when we had the week that we're never going to mention again, the majority of my freezer had to be deposited in the bin, which is just horrendous, because while, you know, they might have been able to be cooked if we'd had power, but we didn't have power either. So horrible to think that just ended up being so wasteful. But so anyway, what I'm getting at is the freezer's empty, so there's room for pasties in there, and maybe some sourdough English muffins. We're going to see my son and his family on Wednesday. It's their youngest son, who's the 9-year-old. Oh no, he's 10 now. Gosh, I forgot he had a birthday. Said he was 9 for so long, and now he's 10. It's his school concert, and we're also going to see a friend, the one I made the needle book for. It's her birthday on tomorrow, and so I said yes, I had to be careful then. I almost did that little back stitch where I'm finishing off my thread inside the wing. I don't do that, because you're going to see that from the right side, but I'm just tying off that thread. So we'll see her on Wednesday and then go to the concert, and then that's Wednesday gone, done and dusted, because, you know, they live, you know, more than an hour away drive, so by the time we leave here and get there. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm leaving a seam allowance. That was a bit generous, that other side, around the stitching, making sure that we're not going anywhere near my stitching. Their stitching is okay. That was a bit too much there. I don't need all that. That's where the opening is. I'm going to clip off this pointy bit. See where my stitching is. Don't need that. All right, one wing done. I'm also going to clip around the curve, which will help it to, this fabric is weird. I can't decide whether it's a linen cotton combination. It rips all right. You know, it's not as easy to rip as calico is, but it will rip. But yeah, it's this, I don't know, had a big piece of it, and it actually had a label on it. From the fabric store. I think I bought it from a place that was, you know, that has remnants, that didn't have anything about what it was. All right, turn it inside out. This is the bagging part. Anyway, so that's Wednesday. Thursday and Friday we're going to go and see my friend Willie, who I've talked about, and her and I will no doubt have a nice sit and stitch and have a good old catch up. We've got a plan. I'm just going to use the end of this because it's got a rubber on it. It's not going to, but you do want to turn it inside out. This is harder to turn out than that other fabric, you know, that satiny stuff. Maybe I'll try a bluntish needle. I don't want to pull my stitching out, but I just want the shape to come out a bit more. Good. That's a bit better. This is the pointy end of the bargain. Oops. Watch what you're doing there. How about I stick a needle in and see what I can make it do. Alright, that's a bit better. Good. There's one wing done, and it is what I thought it was going to be. I'm just going to poke that little bit back in, pretend you didn't see that bit sticking out there. But I'll show you what I'm going to do, how I'm going to fix that in a minute. Let me see. Yep. Now I'm going to tuck that turning in bit in. I seem to do these fiddly jobs on screen. I don't know why that happens, but it just does. I'll pop a little pin in it just to hold it for a minute. Yeah, so back on Saturday, school holidays start, and then that gorgeous 10-year-old's going to come and have a sleepover for a few days. And so goodness knows, I'm sure he'll want to sit and... He's my biggest follower. He's the funny one. He's the stat guy. He's the one telling me how many subscriptions I've got. Too young to subscribe himself, but he tells me he would if he could. Funny one. Anyway, he and I will hang out together. Well, Pa will be here too, and we might see his cousins that live near us, and of course my mum. So there'll be a few things to do. How much videoing I'll get done, I don't know. But anyway, let's just go with each day as it comes. Alright, so I've threaded myself up some additional thread. Go inside that bit, bury the knot. Might need to get rid of that. And then come out on the right side, and what I'm going to do is just do a running stitch. I'm not going to do a back stitch, just a running stitch as close as I can get to the, you know, that folded edge, making sure that I've tucked my little bits in that need tucking in, and just a little fine running stitch, just to give it that little bit of extra shape. I actually quite like this fabric because it's sort of giving me natural veins. I was going to stitch them in, which is how I did it on that water wave satin, but I wasn't happy with the finish of it. I might have to go up and down here. Bother, can't be doing my scooping like I normally like to do. Oh well, never mind, it'll happen. So yeah, this might be a 2-part. I've got a little bit of canthus stitching left to do on my Christmas quilt top, my top number 1, and then think about what I'm going to embellish. And then I've got to catch up on my Botanical Beauties page, which is, so yes, plenty to do. So what I might have to do is do a couple of videos in a row and then stagger them this week so that you don't forget about me. So yeah, that's my week. All busy, planned out for me. So today I thought after I finish doing this, normally I do my housework or my cooking or whatever in the mornings, and Paul goes off to the men's shed in the morning, so then when I'm ready to stitch, he's home being busy making noises. So I thought, oh, I'm going to do the reverse today. I'm going to get up early and start stitching. You can hear the heater going on, my apologies, but it's cold. I feel like we just stepped straight back into winter. We'd almost got seduced into a little taste of spring there for a few days, apart from storms, but it wasn't cold. Now it's cold again, and it's raining. So I suppose that's all right. By the time I get around to rescuing the blueberries, the ground will be nice and soft, and I'll be able to get rid of all the parsley. Oh well, lots of it anyway. Take it out of where it shouldn't be, put it somewhere else. And I've got cute little forget-me-nots coming up. Oh, when we were first married, we lived in an old house that we actually lived in for 42 years. Oh no, maybe more than that. Maybe 43 years, whatever it was. We lived there for a long time. And there were forget-me-nots all the way through that garden. Every time you walked out, the little seeds, they were, you know, they're like sticky. And they would stick to your pants, your track pants or your whatever, or your socks. And then, I don't know, as the years went by and gardens changed, my garden changed. I don't know what happened to the blueberry, the forget-me-nots. We just didn't have any more anymore. No idea why. Anyway, I've got some now, and I bought them last year in a pot, hanging basket thing, and they all died down, and I thought that I'd lost the plants that were in there, and they were buried in that herb garden. Well, you know, the pot was, and then Paul pulled it out for some reason, whatever reason. He found it and he hung it up for me, and there are the forget-me-nots coming up. So that was very exciting. And then when I went out to the garden the other day to get the herbs for the rosé, cool, that's how that wing looks, and I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to, when I stitch it on here, I'm only going to catch that much, and then I'll do the body. Actually, that's a bottom wing, and I think that will look quite good. So yeah, that's what I wanted it to look like. Cool. All right. I will I'll endeavour to do a little bit more, and probably come back to you in a little while. I'll see how I go. I think you've seen my plan. You know where I'm headed with butterflies and moths. What I might do is just rip this down, and it can be, you know, a little piece going down here. I don't know how I'll attach it or what I'll do, but that's my plan. Have my little white butterfly in here. Very cute. All right, well, that's good. Slightly different page to what I've done in the past, but that's me. All right, getting ready to organise a busy week. I hope you're doing really well. I hope you're having fun, and I'll talk to you soon. Well, I might come back. Probably shouldn't have said goodbye, because I might actually come back. I'll see how long this video is, and then I'll come back in shortly. All right, bye. Well, I did come back. I'm sorry I tried to say goodbye before, but I realised, well, it wasn't that long, so I thought it was worth coming back for a little bit, because I wanted to share the painting part with you. So I've completed all the wings. I've made sure I know where they're going. They're on the pattern there, so just that I get, the shape. Every time I go to talk, my voice gets croaky. So I've just been having a bit of a play just to check what this fabric does, but I'm actually not quite happy with the colour that I've got yet, because it's a bit darker than I wanted it to be. So I thought I'll just I'll mix up a bit more in here. A bit of white, which has gone grey on there. That's my mixing one. A bit more water. Yep. Don't want it to be too wet because I don't want it to bleed all over the place. Let me just see what that looks like now. Just a bit. I didn't sort of want it too dark, so maybe I'll just have to be light-handed with it. Maybe a little bit more white. Let's just see if I can get it a little grayer. These blocks don't come in a grey. They come in a lighter, well, it's sort of a slate grey black, but it's still pretty black. And I just thought if I can make it just a little bit paler. Oh, there we go, finally. Gosh, that took a bit of trying to get a bit of water out of there. Sometimes they work really well, sometimes they don't. Yeah. I think I'm happier with that colour. Good, all right. So I don't have the picture in front of me, but from what I remember, it's got a little bit of shading just kind of here. There's my picture. I sort of tried to give myself a bit of a reminder. Oh gosh, so can't see a thing I'm doing. Heavens, gotta remember to do that, don't I? Painting away here to myself, having a lovely time all by myself. All right. It's sort of just where the wing meets the body, but a bit more on that top edge there. And I'll do those little dotty bits in a minute so that yeah. Oh, that went a bit blobby. Oh well, that is what it is. I might not put too much on here because while they have the veins, they're still white. You know, they don't have black veins coming out of their you know, on top of their wings. So really, this wasn't going to take very much to do, and it will dry fairly quickly. I'm not going to do the other side, the underside. I don't think I am. No, I don't think so. So I'm really just brushing the bristles of the brush over the top of the fibres. I'm not trying to soak it in. It's just a bit of colouring, really. Oh, yeah, that looks strange, that one. Hopefully it looks like a little white cabbage moth, cabbage butterfly. Yeah, cool. And then just these blacker blobs, dots, eyes, whatever they are, camouflage. Come on, just work now, don't be silly. And they're really just and they're only on the top wings. I guess you could stitch this on if you wanted to, but I decided that I wanted to paint it. So it'll take a little few minutes to dry before I can stitch them into place. I don't want to, while it's not really very wet, I still don't want to smudge it everywhere. Good, a little tester is always very handy. All right, I'll put those there for now. Get rid of that. Good. Now, what I can't decide is about stitching this on. I've been thinking about it while I was stitching the wings, is just doing an overcast stitch, which I think I'll go with now, and then make a final decision once, you know, I'm ready, you know, once the page is almost complete. Oh, I'll make another decision. Yeah, I think I'll use that one. I tidied up yesterday and I've just made another big mess. Just seemed to, I don't know why that happens. It just seems to do it all by itself, I think. I don't think I've got anything to do with it. Because it was really good yesterday, and now I'm looking around and going, gosh, how did I manage to do that in an hour? I was fiddling around this morning, and because I always never have out exactly what I want to start with, so I've always got to go on the hunt for something else, just in case that's a bit better. You never know. And I didn't want to cover it. Sorry, I'm just burying my knot in there. I didn't want to cover it with another strip of fabric, something else. I just wanted to keep what I've got here. I'm just hoping that because the linen's quite open weave, that this sort of stitching, so I'm just catching, what I've done is folded over that edge to the backing here. Haven't stitched it or anything, so I'm just catching in the fold there, a bit like an invisible stitch, or a invisible hemming stitch would be, so that the front is quite straight across, and then I scoot under a little bit and come back out, just so I'm keeping that stitch fairly straight on the outside of the fabric. I mean, you can't see it. Probably could if you got up really close, but even I can hardly see it. All I'm really wanting to worry about is having it not fray away from the backing. So I am going fairly close to it. Try and go a bit quicker. Somebody did comment when I said I was such a slow stitcher. I made a comment myself about being a slow stitcher, and they said, yes, you are. Hurry up. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to always be in a rush. I just want to do it at my own pace, but that can sometimes be a bit slow on a video, so I get that. So this is my aim for this. So I think you've probably seen enough of that for now. So yeah, I think it'll hold it down. I just hope with the turning of the pages that it won't become too frayed away. Still, I guess I can always do a running repair if I need to. Butterflies and moths next. I'm going to, where I stamped it, I'm going to rip it, I think, so that I've got I don't want to go too far away. Yeah, I just didn't want to make it all calico. I just want to go fairly close to the stamp. Didn't want to... Oh, that one was close. That's only like about 2 threads away. That's all right. That's what I wanted it to be. Ooh, yep. Ooh, don't fray away too much. I haven't got that much to spare. All right. But neither did I want it to be, you know, I'm not making a feature of this fabric. I'm just wanting the print. Oh yeah, that's probably pretty good. All right. I'm still thinking on that other one. Maybe you can hop in there too. We've got butterflies and moths and things everywhere. Do I want that in there? Is that a bit overload? Yeah, I think that probably is a bit overload. That's a bit silly. That's a bit silly. But I wanted to take advantage of the label. I know it's there and I'm not writing on it necessarily, but this says butterflies and moths here, so it looks like moths, M-O, but it is moths. It's just the way it's stamped. It's funny. I might almost, that might be a good thing. You know, almost like you've stapled it in or you've paper clipped it into your journal. Okay, might just leave that one for a minute. And I couldn't decide if this was going to go higher or lower, so I'm just going to play with the placement with you for a minute. All right. I know, I wish I could hear you say what you think. I don't know what happened to his body. I lost it. I did chase it off. Whatever did I do with it? Oh, it's here. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is so his wings go down like that. This one comes down there. This one comes down there. And then his body sits in there. All right, I might pin those in so I know where they go, and then I'll probably just satin stitch maybe with some wool, embroidery wool, over that. Oh, sorry, did you just get my head? My head bumped into the iPad. Sorry. This one really should go there. I'll do a recheck before because the only place that I'm actually going to stitch it is where the wings join the body, and it might only be as a result of the body being embroidered that actually is what catches the wings, so that they'll flap up. Okie doke. All right, well, I think that's where I'm going to finish this. Is he going to be, is he going to be stay being a flap? He might stay being a flap. This one. Just as a note. And I'll think about if I'm going to put anything under there. But this is where I'm headed. I'll think about that. All right, this is really me. I'm going to finish video part 1 here. And I will come back when I've done a bit of the stitching so that you can see where I'm going and finish it off. Okay, have a great day and take care. Bye for now.